to millions of people the world over, from cancelled contracts, diminished earnings, and worst of all, death of loved ones. COVID-19 has wreaked havoc on households. Sports Chat visited one of Kenya's rugby stars to find out how he's coping with the pandemic, and we learned how he has retreated to the kitchen, and from it, he's reaping the reward as corporates now line up behind him thanks to his other talent away from the rugby field. Have a look. This is Sports Chat, and I'm Robin Toskin. We have visited one of Kenya's rugby sevens greats, and he's a man that many Kenyans have known him. He represented the country at the 2016 Rio Olympics. He also represented Kenya at the 2013 Rugby Sevens World Cup in Russia, and he's talking to us about his experience of playing for Kenya and what he does outside the rugby pitch. Just follow me and listen to what he has to say. Niaje demo?
Niaje.
Poa sana man.
Takuonja pilipili.
Kutembea hapa hivi. Umeanza tayari kula nini? Is it already? Niaje?
Itaenda kwa kuku.
Aha. So what are we looking at here? Nini nitamfanya leo bana?
Here.
Hey.
First of all, eating. But before you eat, you have to cook. Leo tapika
Lakini umenawa?
Yeah.
Okay. Nice.
Always. Chicken, so these are just chicken thighs.
Yeah.
Because you're going to be having them as a stew.
Okay.
Inside this pan with rice.
Nice setup, because hata me kitchen yangu, I haven't seen this kind of, setup. This is very professional.
No, I love it, yeah, because actually everything here I made it from this chopping block, this butcher block over here, the outdoor kitchen tables. So this is what I was up to during COVID. You remember the quarantine days?
Wow.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, I'll be at home most of the time for over a year.
Yes.
And yeah, that time we were expecting my son now who's 4 months old.
Wow.
So I decided, yeah, I can't be...
What's the name? What's the name of the
The name is Remy Umbachi.
Nice.
Polycarpov.
Why Polycarpov? That sounds Russian.
Yeah, because the mother is Russian.
Wow.
Yeah,
interesting.
So hybrid. That's a hybrid.
Champion, Olympian himself.
Future Kenya 7-star.
Okay, so take us through, man. What is it how are you going about it?
The first process, of course, brown the chicken, and then I'll take it all out, go in with the onions, tomatoes, carrots, and then take the chicken back in.
Wow.
Throw in some chicken stock, some water, cover it, and then let time do its thing.
A sportsman, it sounds funny, looks funny, talking to a sportsman in his kitchen, doing his stuff. Is it that you love sports most, or is cooking that you love, man?
If I'm to be honest now, because I'm almost retiring, if I'm to be honest, yes, I do love sports. What I would say, I'm good at sports, but what I really love more has been the cooking. But, like, when I left high school, the cooking, there's no way it's going to pay the bills, and I was sort of exceptionally good at sports. And so, Akina Humphrey Kayange, the mentors, yeah, they took me under their wing. They saw the potential in me that I was not seeing, and I was like, anyway, yeah, this looks like a path that can lead me to where I want to go in life. So, and that's how I got into sports. I ended up loving it, though my passion really is in the cooking. Like, I'm good at sports, but for me, I don't want to say it was a means to an end, because I dedicated a lot of time, effort, and where I got is just pure hard work. Because even waking up, like, it's not like you love it so much that you wake up every day like, oh, I'm happy to go to training, but you know what you're working towards.
Because it punishes the body, of course.
Yeah, it punishes the body, and of course, the older you become, the tougher it gets. And for me, it's just, I will say, it's just, for the sports, it's hard work that got me there. The cooking, like where I am now, is the passion. Let's go in with the oil.
Okay.
Some golden fry.
Nice.
That's it. That's more than enough. This just to brown the chicken. And then now to go in with the pieces one by one. So just sear them.
Nice. You've got to arrange them really well, huh?
Yeah. Also, you don't want to crowd the pan too much.
Yes.
So I'll do them in batches. Yes. So that's the first batch. Let that brown. We'll flip it, take it out, then brown the other ones. Yeah. So color, what color gives us is flavor.
Yeah,
and you can see
appetite, you know. Yeah.
You see like over here, now that's flavor. But so we let it brown for a bit longer before we flip it again. Yeah, that's good. Nice. That's flavor. That's what you want to see. So let that go on for a few.
Interesting. Because you must have taken quite some time, you know, invest your time, invest your reading.
Yeah, I invested a lot of time, a lot of money, I will say, and effort.
Yeah.
Because everything, most of the pans, like when you used to travel on these tours.
Yes.
So like when guys go buy, you know, nice phones, clothes, and
of course.
I used to take a detour, I go get this heavy pot, and you can see the kind of pots I use are pretty heavy. So most of them, I used to come back with, let's say, one of each. And with time, like this is done. Huh? Yeah, so it was, now it feels like I was future-proofing. Wow. Like now almost everything I use, like I can tell where I got it and when.
Yes. And, you know, a lot of things have happened since, you know, you went to the Olympics 2012, for the World Rugby, a 7th in Russia, then Olympics 2016. That's almost 8 years down the line or so. Now 2020 happens.
Oh,
we all knew that everything will be okay because we knew the Olympics was coming up in Japan. But early January 2020, stories started coming out. There was a virus that had, you know, caused havoc in Wuhan. Did it worry you at that point? Because later on, they declared it a pandemic.
At that point, you know, we were like, it's just, you know, another virus. Like we usually have these outbreaks. Because we didn't really internalize the effects it's going to have. To make it worse, that was the Olympic year. That was the year that the Olympics was supposed to be happening.
Yes.
I was actually looking forward to compete in the Tokyo 2020 Olympics because I'm not young.
Yeah.
I've been part of the Kenya 7 squad for this my 12th year now.
Wow.
Yeah. So played the Commonwealth, the World Cup, won Olympics, but I really was looking, still I'm looking forward to compete in my second Olympic Games. Because ideally last year, something people really don't know, after the Olympics last year is when I planned to hang my boots.
I read that.
Yeah.
I was sports editor. I saw, you know, there was always that information that Dennis Ombachi could be hanging his boot. But then things happen.
Yeah,
here you are.
COVID
You're
happened.
Still looking forward to the Olympics in Tokyo.
Yeah, COVID happened, you know. I was like, anyway, this has happened. Wow. I still had made my mind. I was like, yeah, I'm done. Yeah, COVID has happened, but I've already been to one Olympic game, so I think that's enough. But
wow, this now looks
good.
Yummy.
Yeah, now that's the first stage.
That's the first stage.
Still raw.
There we go.
So we're going to sear the rest. Now that's flavor. Because cooking is all about layering of flavors.
Yes.
And this is the first stage.
Interesting. As a sportsman, a professional rugby player, man, you know, thinking about this, thinking about the game, you must be having a machine-like brain, man.
Actually, how my brain works influences most of my decisions because I'm not really someone who, like, I can't pay attention for long, like sit down for 1 hour. But my brain, things moving, they are pretty quick. And the good thing about my brain, the ability, I will say, there's a God up there, that I was given is the ability to, I don't want to say a copy artist, but anything, if I see it and I want to make it quick,
yeah, like
I'll do it.
When you helped Kenya qualify for the Olympics 2016, that run, man,
that was special.
That was special. And you have to make those decisions quickly. You didn't want to offload the ball. You felt like you can go and do it, man.
Yeah, because I remember that game, I started from the bench.
Yes.
So I came in, it was the second half. And yeah, whatever happened. The buzzer had gone. We were trailing. Even me, deep inside, something inside me had given up.
Yes.
But I think it's the trust my teammates had in me, because I remember after the kickoff,
yes,
Biko caught the ball, and then I just had he passed to Kolo. But as he was passing, he was just saying, give it to Ombachi. And then, of course, when Kolo passed the ball to me,
yeah,
you just have a split second to make the decision. And I was like, anyway, I was on the bench for a while. There's no way I'm going to pass this ball. So,
let me go.
Yeah, whatever happens, let it happen. So I just put my head down. And that's when now, you know, the conditioning, the strength and conditioning. I remember that time, Geoffrey Kimani.
Yes.
I was our sprints coach. Yeah. So now, actually now is when you start remembering everything, you know, like
exactly.
the technique, high knees, yeah, because at that point now, there was no rugby. I had the ball. I had the rugby with me. Now it was all about now the athletic bit of it.
Yes.
So it's all about running like a madman.
Man, I was in the newsroom at that time. I just stood up there and saw you guys. You know, you touched down. Must have been a very proud moment for you.
It was proud. It was emotional. But as an athlete, in the heat of the moment, you don't really get it. Because even that try up to today, I think the more years, the longer the years pass, the heavier I feel the weight. Like what we did was actually something exceptional, because the older I become, I'm like, looking back, I'm like, yeah, I think I did something for my country. Some, you know, who was it? Winston Churchill, like, don't ask your country, what can you do for me? What have you done for the country?
For the country.
I think I'm at a place where I can ask my country to do something for me now. I can happily say I've done something for my country.
Of course, you've done at Singapore. You made us proud, you know, by winning.
Singapore, yeah, the boys made us proud. But I remember that tournament is when I'd actually broke my foot.
And then you didn't travel.
Yeah,
there.
so I didn't travel for that. Yeah, but the boys did us proud on that.
Yeah, that's what we. But then
the first stage is done.
I can see it's done.
Yeah.
Where do we move from here?
So now is to go in with the onions.
Yes.
So I want to drain off these fats.
Like in here.
Oil.
Can I do this kule mtaani, man?
Yeah. Huh? Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you see there's some brown bits over there.
Yes.
Don't worry about that, that's flavor. So we'll go in with more clean oil.
Okay.
Not too much now, that's enough. Turn the heat back up. And then a bit of the onions.
Yes.
Because we're still going to use the same onions to cook our spinach.
Okay.
And go in with half of the onions. It should be enough.
In one of your interviews with the Standard, that's Eve magazine, you say that men should cook.
Yeah, men should cook.
Mbona unataka kutuweka, you know, in bad light to the girls, eh?
No, because cooking for me, I will say it's one of those, you know, basic human survival skills.
Yes.
There are some things you should be able to. You should be able to cook an egg. You should be able to cook your favorite food.
Yes.
First of all, like a staple, you should be able to cook these basic things like ugali, preparing veggies. Because
given of course, the pandemic has really taught us something.
Exactly, and the pandemic as well. And
what if you go into isolation, you know, that kind of thing? You need to survive.
Also, in a household, it's not always nice to have one person just, you know, to cook for the entirety of the relationship. So it's also spices things up, and it makes builds the relationship, makes the bond a lot more stronger. Yeah, because you might be fighting elsewhere, but when you come in here, you work together towards a common goal. Yeah, food brings people together. Yes. So now I think we are ready to go in the tomatoes.
Yes.
Tomatoes, I think I'll go in with all of it.
Right. These are really well done, well cut, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, that spices it. You want to
knife skills here, because
desire to eat.
Yeah, the thinner and more even you cut them, the more even they'll cook, and the faster they'll break down.
Okay.
And the better it will look on the plate. So let that cook. Actually, I just go in with the carrots as well.
How important are the carrots in all this?
This one I just added to sort of make it healthy. But it also adds a lot of flavor, because as you can see over here, we used a lot of tomatoes, and tomatoes are acidic. So on a normal day, if I didn't have the carrots, I will go in with, let's say, a pinch of sugar, because cooking is all about balancing the flavors. The human tongue can only recognize 5 flavors.
Wow.
So actually,
I didn't know that.
Only 5. Wow. So like, one of the things that actually changed my cooking, I remember, is when I actually like unlocked, because as I said, there are 5 flavors. You have sweet, you have sour, you have salt, you have which one is it? Is it bitter? And then there's umami.
Wow.
So once
that is the one I didn't know.
So like when you caramelize food or chicken like this, you see the brown color, there's a chemical reaction that goes on in there. So that also is umami on its own. Okay. So when you go back into the dish, it's going to like water down into the stew. So that's why I say cooking is all about understanding the flavors, building them, and then layering them down.
Nice.
So these, I'm going to cover it.
How long does it take, for instance?
I don't know how long, because it depends with your, of course, the gas you are using, the pot you are using, the amount of onions you put in here. Okay. Because different pots cook differently. This cooks a lot more faster, because it's, as you can see, it's a cast iron. It's heavy, so it retains a lot of heat. And then we also have a lid, so I'm just going to cover it and let it cook before we go in with the
which requires a lot of patience, and for all professionals.
Cooking is that's why I say, like, cooking will also teach you lots. The kitchen will teach you lots of lessons. Yes. Patience being one of them. Yes, there are meals you can afford to rush around, but also there are meals that require patience. Like, say, making sourdough bread, especially baking bread. Yes. Like bread, I usually bake when I feel like I'm a bit stressed. So I need something that will take a bit of my time and will need patience. Yes. So that's why cooking will help in a lot of things, even your mental health, stuff like that. Yeah.
On the pitch, there's always that patience, the build-up, all that, because you want to go for that touchdown, but you can't just rush. You have to build it up. Yeah, and then get it.
Everything in sports is about patience. Like, I remember when I came straight out of high school, that was in 2008. When I joined the national team in 2009, I never figured myself to be where I am right now. Sure. But I knew, I remember, as I said, yes, I love the sport, but not to an extent that I was willing not to sacrifice much. So, but when that reality hit me, I was like, the only thing that's going to sort of separate me, differentiate me from the rest, I have no option. Yes, I wouldn't call it talented. I was gifted physically, but I knew how to work for the other stuff. So, so for me, I knew to get where I am, I just have to outwork the opposition.
When I first read about your cooking skills, or they say culinary skills, I was like, wow, how can this guy balance all this? Now, given the pandemic that we all know how it affected everyone in sport, how did it affect you?
The pandemic hit me as any other sportsman quite hard, because I remember we were hot on the heels preparing for the Olympic Games in Tokyo, and then IOC all of a sudden said, okay, because of the pandemic, the lockdown, the Olympic Games have been postponed, and I was like, man, this is so heartbreaking. Anyway, as I said, 2020, I'd planned to hang my boots, so after getting that information, and then I also was just recovering from my most recent, I don't know, my 5th knee surgery. I was like, okay, anyway, I'm done with this. I'm going to hang my boots. But yeah, so 2020 was tough. And then, you know, the contracts got discontinued because there was no funds. The sponsors, there were no sponsors coming into the union. So they basically, sports as a fraternity suffered a lot. And the people who were hit most were the athletes. And it got to me at some point, but it was sort of a blessing in disguise on my end, because that's when I actually decided to focus more on the cooking and especially social media.
In terms of, you know, this cooking, how has it really helped you? Has it brought in the kind of money that has helped to cushion you from this pandemic?
Cooking has helped me a lot. Yes. as I said, when I was doing the roaming chef, when I was cooking for people, so that brought me money for some time before Corona stopped reggae, and then I had to quit the business. And then, but since then, I think it's been more of working with corporates.
Corporates.
Yeah, like
it's very difficult for Kenyan sports people to attract corporates. Have you attracted one?
Yeah, I've attracted quite a few, like Bidco, of course, over here. Coincidentally, they're the ones we are using to prepare our meal. And for them, I think it was just their, because they're all about living a happy, healthy life. They say happy, healthy living. It's all, and I looked at that, I was like, anyway, that buys into sort of what I do. Because for me, I advocate for happy, healthy living, but without compromising on the quality of life. After the Olympics, I'm going to be retiring. And after I'm done retiring, I don't want to lose this shape that people have known me like this for over 15 years. So that's why, for me, my approach to cooking is about the quality of life. So quality of ingredients, it has to be fresh. If the ingredients, the quality of the ingredients is good, you don't have to. There's this sort of cliche kind of thing where to eat healthy, you have to eat, I don't know, veggies every day.
I'm always discouraged from taking oil, man.
Or oil as well. I think one of the most one misconception that people get it wrong is that fats will get you fat.
That's what I've been told.
There are oils. Oil is just but a medium of cooking. If you use it properly, like for example, let's say I wanna make fried chicken. If I make fried chicken using, let's say, this oil, and the temperature of the oil is not up to par, it's not hot enough, that chicken is going to cook while absorbing the oil. But someone else will make it using the same oil, proper temperature, proper cook time, because if the oil is hot enough, what it does, it sort of pushes the moisture out of the food as it cooks because of the temperature difference.
How are you relating with, say, Bidco, like now you say? Because most sportsmen, they have always ruined their relationship with the corporates. How are you balancing all this? How are you keeping it?
The relationship, especially with Bidco, which is one that I kind of love, not my favorite. Let me not lie, it's a favorite. I won't say a favorite. How should I put it? Because me and Bidco, we've come a long way. Maybe not directly, but a couple of years back, they were our shirt sponsors for the national team. So we've worked together, and then what I did is I actually pitched myself to them. Because remember, as I said, I'm into sports. I'm into sports, about to retire, and their tagline, they are promoting a happy, healthy living. I've been through their factory. So the relationship was already there, but...
It is you who pitched yourself to Bidco. Because that is the problem that most maybe sportsmen have. That after playing, you just take your bag, you go home. But you also need to go back and talk to them.
The thing is with sports, I won't really say it's the fault of the players, but but the responsibility is on our end, because I was also caught up in that there's that system that the sports it's like a hard mentality kind of thing. So like when COVID started is when I realized that okay, the income I was getting from rugby is not coming anymore. I have to find ways out here of making the money, because I was expecting a baby and stuff. If there's one skill I will let's say, if there's a skill I will want all athletes, especially the rugby players, the junior ones coming in now, is the ability to sell yourself and to actually the ability to sell yourself.
Yeah, because I've seen your compatriot Eliud Kipchoge, he's selling himself. He has handlers. Do you have handlers too?
No, I don't have handlers. Of course, I'm not Eliud. I'm not that big. Handlers are coming. But also, I would like to urge all athletes.
Yes.
Social media. What it has given us athletes the power to tell the story and we can control the narrative.
Okay.
So yeah, the media can say this and this,
Yeah.
but I know
but you
now.
can also control who is Dennis.
Yeah,
like I saw on your IG, you call yourself roaming chef, balding chef. Did I read that?
Balding butcher.
Balding
Because
butcher.
apart from cooking, I enjoy butchering, butchery skills.
Now,
so I'll go in with a bit of salt.
Salt, because I hope that is the last bit, because my salivary glands.
We are almost there. We are almost.
Glands,
These are the last stages.
Wow.
So some chicken stock.
Wow. You get in there.
Yeah.
These are skills, man, that all those sportsmen, can.
Yeah, this is
and get something.
like cooking. When I started it, I started because I like it, but now it's like my main source of income. And as I said, it
You have to mention the figures, Dennis. Mention the figures. When you just say source of income, how much are we looking at here?
The figures I'm not yet there. I'll start saying the figures once they are they are big enough.
Yeah.
I don't want to jinx it.
Yes.
So far so good.
Yeah, so far so good. And any other sports person, you can get in there. Look at Dennis Ombachi. What he's going through is, he's living his dream.
Yeah.
He's playing the game. He's focusing on the Olympics. That is 2020 Olympics. Well, of course, it was postponed to this year. That will be start on July 23rd through to early, that is August 5th, that is. Just hope that you'll bring us gold if you make the squad.
Hopefully. Not gold. Yes, gold. If we get gold, well and good. But I think our target this season, I really want a medal before I call quits on this sport. Because, being an Olympian, yes, I'm already an Olympian. I went to Rio, but I think medaling is priceless, and that's what we are working towards.
I just hope that my wife will not have a look at this, because I think I'll have to answer a lot of questions.
No, these are pretty simple dish. Actually, just how my mom, like what I'm making, because the person who introduced me to cooking is my mom. So like most of these simple, I would say Kenyan dishes, is just like a continuation or an upgrade of my mom's recipes.
Really interesting.
Yeah.
And I think your madam inside there, she just sits pretty waiting for this, huh?
That's why
Good
we are
husband.
happy. That's why we are happy.
Dennis Ombachi. We've been talking to him over how he prepares his favorite, of course, recipe. He's got quite a number of them, recipes, but this is it. He has prepared this, and I know that time is coming. We'll sit down with him and maybe have a bite of what he's made. And as he said, the sky is always the same limit. That it is something that any other sportsman should be able to take up, a sportsman or even woman, because in sports, it is age dependent. Once you retire, there has to be something that you look at.
Actually, that brings me to one point. Like the reason why I decided to focus seriously into the cooking bit is because when I looked at my career, the one I was into sports, it's a career with an expiry date. So, and that's why I've been trying to step out of that sort of, I don't want to call it prison, but that's sort of, like the life of a sportsman has a hold on you. And that's, even up to today, I'm still trying to break those shackles, because I've been playing it for 12 years. Yes. My time there, the career of a sportsman, I say it's like milk. If I open this milk, I leave it on the table, it'll be fresh today. Maybe tomorrow it'll still be fresh. But 2, 3, 4 days, it'll have gone bad. And that's the career of a sportsman. So, and I wish when I was a young player, I wish someone told me that, yes, while you're still doing this, working on your fitness, speed, agility, and everything, I wish someone told me that you also need to work on how to pitch yourself to the corporates, like what I did with Bidco. I wish someone told me that one of the most important skills out here is negotiation skills. Like that is what most of us as sportsmen, we lack at. And there are those soft skills, writing an email. I wish I knew those earlier, but I'm glad I got to find them out before it was too late, and that's what basically is carrying me through my as I head towards my retirement and sunset years.
Viewers, I want to really thank you for watching us over this session where we've been talking to Dennis Ombachi and how he prepares his meals. We've learned a lot of information that can really help other sportsmen and women, in this time of the coronavirus pandemic. And I believe that the life lessons that Dennis Ombachi has really just given you, those nuggets of wisdom, will help any other sportsman, to excel. And until next week, I've been your presenter, Robin Toskin.
And I've been your guy, Dennis Ombachi. Follow me on Instagram at The Roaming Chef.
Wow. Robin Toscan decided to switch it up for us this time on Sports Chat, and I've just been salivating as they made that chicken and carrots.
You read my mind.
Wow.
He was speaking of nuggets of wisdom. I was looking at those chicken nuggets.
Yeah, very, very cool. But of course, telling you how you can be wise and, use your talent in different ways. It doesn't have to be what you're doing as your main gig. You can actually turn to social media and your passions and actually do your thing, just like he is doing. So yeah, pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's a holistic approach towards life and definitely planning for the future as well. Yeah. It just doesn't apply to sportsmen, does it?
Everyone, particularly those in the media.
Yes.
Yeah. A better place for such planning. But it's really good, really interesting. Thank you, Robin Toscan, for switching it up and making things interesting today on Sports Chat.
Well, that was interesting. But even as we finalize today's edition of Morning Express, we still have to appreciate the fact that breaking news did reach our studios just earlier on, the fact that the Senator for Garissa County, Yusuf Haji, has passed on. Definitely unfortunate news, bearing in mind the role he has played, not just in politics, but administrative and provincial duties as well.
Absolutely.
Most recently being remembered as the chairperson of the BBI task force.
Absolutely. He had a very, very impressive resume. And of course, he started off long ago as an administrator between 1970 and 1998. Then he became a nominated MP, then ran unopposed and won for Ijara constituency in 2002 and 2007. And later on became a senator. He was serving his second term. He served as minister, and he has been lauded as one of those leaders who are of really sound mind and not afraid to speak his mind whenever it came to very tricky issues. And he stayed close to State House every time, and they looked to him every time they needed good leadership and, of course, a very sober mind to tackle matters of national importance. So Kenya has indeed lost a great leader. He was 70 years old when he passed, 80 years old, rather, when he passed away at the Aga Khan Hospital.
We'll definitely get more information for you, but speaking earlier on to Senate Speaker Ken Lusaka, they mentioned they're waiting for a direction from the family, even as they come to terms with the passing on of Senator Yusuf Haji. The Speaker, just to note, mentioned him as quite a sober-minded contributor on the floor of the House, definitely bringing aspects of his eldership in terms of his eldership towards the contributions on the floor of the House. We'll definitely keep you updated. Absolutely. But even as we touch base with the residents of Garissa just to get a feel of what they're going through right now.
Absolutely, and your views have come through also through social media. Condolences, I'll just read a few. Willis Abwao Jerry has said, sad, he was a calm and civilized person. We have Sam Michael said, condolences to the family and all his lovers. Deeply shocked by this sudden demise. And of course, more comments are on the discussions that we had. If you want to keep the conversation going, I'm at Trix Ingado and
the Jesse Rogers.
Okay. Get on Twitter and keep the conversation going. But from us, it's goodbye. Thank you so much for tuning in. See you tomorrow, same place, same time. And my name is Trix Ingado. Have a lovely day.
And I'm Jesse Rogers. Enjoy the rest of your viewing. Keep it KTN News.